Yeah, good evening. Hi. Okay, good evening. Uh, Sorry to make you wait. I have some technical issue with lighting setup and all. So I hope from the next class itself I will make it on time. Just adjusting the light. There was some issue with the lighting setting. Still, I can have a huge lighting here. Okay. Please do join, guys. And today we're gonna discuss about oh, human microbes in human welfare. So this is pretty, hi Kadir. So this is a very cookie chapter. I keep telling to my students that it's a cookie chapter, and the things which you cover in this are important when it comes to examples and all. So if we can break up this lesson into parts, we can understand better, right? But that too, so far everyone knew that microorganisms has a role which has harmful roles, right? So but this lesson would cover mostly uses of the microbes, right? Advantages of the microbes. So it's like microbes are not always a foe, but they're all friends as well. So in which aspects we use these microorganisms as what is a they will be useful in what aspects that we're gonna cover. Okay, so let's wait for Kritika. Yeah, good evening. This is 12th standard NCERT, CBSE 12th standard chapter 10, right? We'll deal this part by part. Detailed explanation will be given in this every session of 7 to 8 p.m. So there were a little confusions going on with the little timings also, but I will make sure that this will go on. It means the detailed sessions of the entire lesson, so that everyone would get benefited. Both 11th standard and the 12th standard, now you guys and passed out batch also. All three batches would can really utilize this, classes. Yeah, that's the main motto of giving the detailed explanation. And whoever already listened or whoever already gone through this lesson in classroom setting, it would be little repeating for you, but just see that you can cover. I will cover a few extra points as well. Okay, so let's move on. Yeah. So the lighting what I'm using is a hot lamp, so it's giving a lot of heat. Maybe I'll try to turn off after some time. Okay. So thank you, Kadir. Yeah. So as I already told that every day will be the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. These 5 days will be releasing two types of videos. One is brief accounts, brief discussion, 1 hour discussion on the chapter, and then the other. This timing, most probably this time I will come up with a detailed explanation of chapter part by part. Okay, apart from NEET students who are getting a quick outline. So three types of videos will be there, and the playlists will be all will be present in my YouTube channel as well. Okay, so without wasting much time, let's move into the details of this chapter. That is what we are discussing is microbes in human welfare. So so when I deal with this human microbes in human welfare, so I already told that we are humans, that we tend to exploit the very nature of other organisms, especially the microorganisms are concerned, that we can use it for our beneficial aspects. So you see these microorganisms and other which are not classified under any of the bikingdom. The viruses has separate classification because they are not both. They are not living as well as they display these two things: non-living as well as living. So as now COVID-19 take over entire humanity, right? So we will be freaking out regarding the harmful aspects of microorganisms, but we should not ignore the beneficial aspects of microorganisms as well. So let's start with this beneficial aspects of the microbes. right? That we can divide this entire lesson into almost 6 parts, right? One is household uses, industrial uses. Within this industrial uses, we will be having subtypes. At the same time, microbes on sewage treatment. So how can we use this microorganisms for treating the household sewage or industrial wastes? And then we'll talk about the microbes in production of biogas. So biogas production, how we use this methane gas production, biogas production, everything we'll be talking in this thing. And then fifth one is very important, that is biocontrol agents. So how we use these microorganisms to control the pests and insects, right? So how do we do that? BT Gordon exact, we have different controlling agents that we, we use direct microorganisms to control the unwanted, organisms. So for example, pests, how we really control the pests, right? Right from the conventional natural prey predator mechanism to the advanced, that is BT cotton. So coming to the next aspect, that is last aspects, biofertilizers. So biofertilizers and the biocontrol agents are more important in this. Of course, the entire lesson is important when it comes to the examples. Okay. So let's start with the first one, that is uses in household. So how these microorganisms would be used in the first place. It means that the first place what we are discussing is the house, right? Household products. So what are the different household products we use when we talk about what is it? Microorganisms as an useful aspects, right? So when we talk about household products, right? So we'll be talking about dairy products, right? So dairy products, especially when we talk about dairy products, we come across this lactic acid bacteria like lactobacillus, right, which we add to the milk. So actually, how we prepare curd, for that matter, we use an inoculum. Inoculum is nothing but the starter culture which has a few microorganisms, and then we put it inside when we inoculate into the milk, right? Then after a few hours, right, of incubation, this milk would turn into curd by curdling process. So how that would occur? Because of it converts lactose sugar of milk into lactic acid. That's why it is called as lactic acid bacteria, LAB. Okay, and this lactic acid causes coagulation and partial digestion of milk protein, that is nothing but casein. Right? Then the milk is changed into different milk products. So now we are talking about the milk products, dairy products, right? So dairy products, we have different dairy products like curd, yogurt, cheese, etc. So based upon the organism, based upon the process, the same milk can be actually converted into different products, right? So here in biotechnology, we discussed that the biotechnology is nothing but the manipulation of microorganisms and their enzymes. But here what we are talking is, we are using direct organisms, microorganisms, and these enzymes which are present in these microorganisms eventually convert some substrate, or nothing but here if you take this raw material as a milk, and then it will eventually convert into different products. So based upon the microorganism, based upon the enzyme, based upon the process, these products would be varying, right? So first we will talk about the curd. So are you guys? So are you able to follow? Okay. So in this milk products, right? In this milk products, the first one we are talking about is curd, right? So how does this curling, like if you see this curd, right? So if you take Indian curd, right? So Indian curd is prepared by inoculating skimmed or cream milk with lactobacillus, right? So which is acidophilus. So it means that temperature of about 40 degrees or less. So it has one property, right? So this acidophilus, this lactobacillus is acidophilus, right? At temperatures of optimal temperature of around 40 degrees or less. So more than that, again, it will not function. So that's what we should not put it this curd into boiling milk. So that's what we make it to the room temperature or lukewarm, right? And then why we are using the curd? Because curd is more nutritious than the milk as it contains number of organic acids, vitamins like B12, right? So that's what we use curd when we talk within this milk products. So because of this conversion into the curd, right? It generates a lot of organic acids, right? And also it contains the vitamins, includes B12, right? So this that is lactic acid bacillus, which is present in the curd, also checks, right, which this lactobacillus which is present in this curd even protects the gut environment, right? It means the other microorganisms which are there which causing the disease also, it can actually check the those microorganisms, harmful microorganisms, when this lactobacillus is taken into our system. Either in stomach or digestive tract, this curd will check the other microorganisms, growth, right? Checks in the sense like it puts a limit to the growth of the other microbes, right? Yeah. So you know how the curd is used later, right? Once the curd is formed, then we can make the curd into different aspects, whether it is sweet or so salted or whatever. From that we can use that curd into different aspects, right? So this is first aspect, that is daily products. We are discussing about the microorganisms household uses, right? The household uses, that is we are talking about dairy products. Within the dairy products, first we talked about the curd, and we talked about curdling process, temperature, optimal temperature, estophilus, lactobacillus, and the conversion or partial digestion of this casein, etc. And now we'll talk about the yogurts. So yogurt is something which is again produced by the curdling of milk with the help of Streptococcus thermophilus. So here what's happening is, here we are changing the microorganisms. So when when we change the microorganism, the enzymes changes, and the enzymes which acts on this milk also would actually eventually creates a different product at different temperatures. So if you see this Streptococcus thermophilus and Lactobacillus bulgaricus, right? This yogurt is produced by this curdling process by this microorganisms, this yogurt. So that too, the temperature should be maintained around 45 degrees, maybe plus or minus 2-3 degrees, right? For almost there is a fixed time also, 4 to 6 hours. So if you see the curdling process, it's a overnight, maybe 12 hours, 12 to 14 hours we will leave it to the curdling process. But when it comes to yogurt, it is little lesser time, right? So likewise, from the same milk can be actually produced into different products based upon the different microorganisms and different processes, temperature, and even uh, uh, even microorganisms. So buttermilk, everyone knows about the buttermilk. How we produce the same. We can get this buttermilk out of the curd at the same time. Again, it will be rich in lactobacillus, right? And then when it comes to the next aspect, what we talk about is so when we talk about traditional drinks, right? So traditional things like toddy also can be prepared by using these microorganisms, right? And even we talk about the bread making. So bread making, we use the yeast cultures, right? So yeast will be used, right? And even cheese production, right? So cheese is one of the oldest milk products prepared with the help of the microorganisms. So depending upon the content, cheese is of, again, it can be of different types of cheese as well, right? Every time we used to see the cheese in Tom and Jerry, right? The holes with the cheese with the holes. That is a one of the characteristic feature of this cheese, which actually what is a uh, is prepared by using a bacteria called Propionibacterium shermani. So based upon this microorganism, even the cheese structure also we can actually change. So the texture, in the sense, the holes are formed due to production of the CO2. That's how the cheese would be helpful in the household scale purpose. I mean, at the household level, right? This is one of the thing we can do. At the same time, we can prepare bread bread by using yeast, and yeast is a eukaryotic cell. At the same time, it divides by budding. At the same time, this baker's yeast, there is Saccharomyces cerevisiae, right? When we will be converting this yeast into powder or cakes, and this small quantity of this yeast will be added to the wheat flour. So when we prepare the wheat flour, and we will be adding this baker's yeast, right? Whatever the needed, and then we will put it into a certain optimal temperature for few hours, so that then it swells up, right? Sorry, I will follow. Is my voice is clear? Yeah. Yeah. So when we talk about this bread, right? So the other aspect of this, usage of this, the important aspect of the bread making is that the fermentation of glucose, right? It takes place, right? If you see this, different enzymes would be produced by this, this process of what is it, you know, when the yeast is added to the wheat flour, right? And then eventually it produces eventually it produces carbon dioxide. So this carbon dioxide would be helpful in the swelling of this dough. So once the dough is baked, we can get this bread as it is. And if you see that the carbon dioxide and ethyl alcohol, which are products of this fermentation, would be escape, and they form pores and makes that bread so soft. That's what have you wondered how this bread is so soft and porous? So the porous nature of the bread is, and the soft nature of bread is due to, right, evaporation of this carbon dioxide and ethyl alcohol, which would be actually evaporated and escape from this bread during baking process. And then comes to the dosa, upma, idli. These are all very fermented products that we, regular usage that we use in household purposes. Right? When we talk about single cell proteins, right? For example, if you need to produce a protein which has 100 grams of protein, extract from feeding one animal, right? So the same cost, we can cut that same cost, and with the same cost, we can produce few tons of proteins by using single cell protein, single cell protein production microbe like spirulina, right? Spirulina, fusarium, if you take example. So these are the single cell proteins which are rich in or high quality protein. So they can be used as substitutes for the protein when because we have to meet the growing demand of the food. So we can use the single cell proteins to really provide the protein source for the needy. Right, within having less, what do you say, using the same kind of resources. For that matter, if this much is investment is needed for production of 1 ton of a protein or 1 kg of protein, it may be less food takes when it comes to single cell protein. And I already told about toddy, which is a South Indian, you know, uh, you know, South Indian traditional drink, which is made by fermentation of sap of the palm trees. So if you see these palm trees, there will be pots will be hanging, and that's from the sap they will be collecting this traditional drink that is called toddy. Okay, so this is the first aspect that is covered in your NCERT and whatsoever you refer books. These are the different aspects that will be covered in the microbes in household products. Okay, So this is the part one. Actually, today I just started. I wanted to start this. I don't want to be, perfectly make everything ready and then start something. So I changed my pattern of doing things. Usually I used to be very perfectionist at one point of time, and it really hampers the functionality. So now I just started with no background or something because light adjustments. So eventually I will start. Eventually I'll put forth some videos, animations. So this is the first day of the 7 to 8 p.m. interaction. I just wanted to get started. So I will stop here and we will continue tomorrow. That is part 2. In the part 2, I will take up at least 2 headings. That is industrial usages. Right. One of the thing I will be covering tomorrow. That is industrial uses of the microbes. Right. At the same time, I'll try to take microbes in production of biogas. Okay, so if you see this NCERT CBSE 12th standard textbook chapter 10, you will be finding this 10.2 and 10.4 I will be taking up. Today I took till 10.1, only 10.1 introduction and 10.1 I took. It's an elaborated explanation, right? For this lesson, quick, for this lesson, 1 hour brief discussion video will be also uploaded very soon. Okay, so in 1 hour I will cover entire lesson, and these videos 7 to 8 videos, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. videos I will be covering part by part, topic by topic, more detailed. Okay, based upon the time and interest, you can go visit my channel and you can get benefited. Please do share to your metric students and CBSE students, your friends, right, kith and kin who are all lacking the interaction with the teachers, right, and who are not getting benefited. Let them get benefited by this free resource. So I hope you enjoyed this class. If you guys have got any doubts, you can you can reach me in my website, that is super6education.com. www.super6education.com is my website. This is an educational website where I will be posting different content, right, based upon the education, culture, psychology, and other innovative thoughts would be posted, poems, etc. will be posted, right. If you are also interested, you can be also an author, right. And few of my students are already Super 6 educators. It means they are all part of this awareness journey. So please visit my website as well as at the same time please share, do subscribe and share this video to everyone. So whoever really looking into the biology topics, be it CBSE or metric or ICSE, this will be used for the NEET purpose as well. Thank you for your attention and interaction, and thank you for being here, right. So good night, take care. We'll see you tomorrow in the next video. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe.